Yeah, so we always talk about the love of God, His faithfulness, but we do not talk about the other side of God. Today, let's talk about the other side of God. You know, God is so faithful and He's so loving. God is love. But also, God has His other side. God is a no-nonsense God. That's His other side. God rebukes and He punishes. He does not excuse the guilty. And there are times when we read the Bible, we can see that there are moments where God has punished people, and to us humans, we feel like, no, was it a reason enough for God to punish this person? But God has His own reasons that we humans cannot even understand. God is a no-nonsense God. That's His other side. He punishes and He rebukes. Let's look at some of the examples, some of the people who God rebuked and He punished. The first example is Moses. Moses was punished. He was denied. God denied him to enter Canaan because of the water issue at Meribah. What happened there, it's not clear. The people were arguing with Moses. They were testing God, saying that, why did you bring us from Egypt when you knew that we are going to die here of thirsty and our animals are going to die too? We are thirsty, we need water. And God prayed to Moses, submitting their request. And God gave him an instruction to go and strike the rock. And he did. And what happened there, how he did it, we don't know. But God punished Moses, denied him from entering Canaan because of that. Another example is of King Saul. King Saul was punished. His kingship was taken from him and his family and was offered to David just because he offered a sacrifice before Samuel. He waited for Samuel to show up, but Samuel took too long. And then he went ahead and offered the sacrifice to God, and God was not happy with it. And then he sent Samuel to tell Moses. He sent Samuel to go and tell Saul about what he did. God took away his kingship from him because he offered a sacrifice to God before Samuel. Imagine he waited and he waited and he waited and he trusted God. He believed in God, and then he was like, I know I can just go ahead and offer this sacrifice to my God. After all, he's my God, without knowing that he was doing something wrong, something that did not please God. Another example is when God punished Eli. We call him Eli in Chichewa. God punished Eli. Eli was a faithful prophet. He was very faithful to God, but God punished him because he failed to discipline his children. He failed to discipline his children. That's why God punished him. But he was so faithful. If you look at Saul, he was so faithful. If you look, another example is that of Hezekiah. He was a faithful king, a faithful king of Judah in the eyes of God. He was so faithful to God. But what crime did he commit for God to punish him? He received the visitors from Babylon. And then he showed them all his treasures. He entered them in each and every room in his palace, showing him all the treasures. And then God said, everything is going to be taken away from you to Babylon, including your children. Just for showing everything he had to the visitors. I mean, some of the things which we are doing, we don't know that God is not happy with us. We have to just God, humble ourselves and tell him, God, What is it that you are not happy with me, instead of just keeping on going and going? Another example also is that of Uzzah, the guy who was stricken dead because he touched the Ark of the Covenant. This guy touched the Ark of the Covenant because he wanted the covenant, because the covenant was sliding and it was about to fall. So he tried to stop it from falling. So he held it tight so that it should not fall. Just by that touching, his intentions were good. But just by that touching, God struck him to death. God was angry with him and he died. I mean, this is so funny, guys. This is so funny, guys. God is not someone to mess up with. We must fear God. We must fear God. God is so powerful and He's a no-nonsense God. He is love, but He is a no-nonsense God. Another scenario is that of Elijah. God rebuked Elijah. Elijah was faithful. He was a faithful prophet in the eyes of God. He was very faithful in the eyes of God. But what did he do? He said that, of course, maybe he was saying the truth according to his physical eyes. He looked at the other servants of God as if they were defiling themselves, they were committing sins. But for him, he tried to stay very obedient to God. And then he was looking at himself as if, yeah, I am the only one who have not defiled myself. Therefore, I am a faithful servant to God. And then he spoke this to God, and God rebuked him. He told him that, no, I have more 7,000 servants who have not defiled themselves. You are not the only one. So you may be thinking that you are doing right things in the eyes of God, but God has issues with it. So we just have to humble ourselves every day in the eyes of God. Ask Him where we are going wrong, what He is not happy with us, to search our hearts but also our minds, and remove everything which He is not pleased with us, and put us on the right direction, so that we may be in good terms with God. His love is faithful, but His other side is that He is a non-nonsense God, and He does not even excuse the guilty. That's about God. That's the other side of God. May God bless you in Jesus' name.